right, folks. So are you ready for a deep dive into the world of AI?
Always ready to jump in.
Okay, good. Because today we're talking about a real shakeup in the AI landscape. Something that's got everyone talking.
It's definitely a story you don't want to miss.
Yeah. And it all revolves around this Chinese AI company, DeepSeek. You've heard of them, right?
I have, yeah. They've been making some serious waves lately.
Big waves. Huge waves. In fact, they basically wiped out like, what, $1 trillion?
Almost $1 trillion.
From major U.S. tech firms practically overnight.
It's pretty wild when you think about it.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to unpack today. How DeepSeek managed to pull this off.
Right, and what it all means for the future of AI.
Exactly, and we're going to be drawing from this article just called Pasted Text. So,
catchy title.
Yeah, well, it gets straight to the point, right? So before January this year, DeepSeek was
under the radar, pretty much.
Totally off the radar, right? Then, bam, they launched this AI model, and suddenly their app is like #1 on the Apple App Store.
Yeah, it's like they came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So what was it about their tech that made such a splash?
Well, DeepSeek created what's called a large language model. It's a lot like ChatGPT, actually.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that one.
Right, but DeepSeek's model is different. It's optimized for older hardware, you know?
Interesting.
So they're using chips that were available even with those U.S. sanctions in place.
Oh, right, those sanctions.
Yeah, and it's this workaround that let them achieve really impressive results without spending a fortune.
And speaking of fortune, the article mentioned that they developed this model for like $6 million.
Yeah, you read that right, $6 million?
In just 2 months.
It's crazy, right? Especially when you compare that to companies like OpenAI. They're reportedly spending, what, over $5 billion a year?
Yeah, billions with a B.
Yeah.
So how is DeepSeek so efficient?
Well, it's not just the hardware. There's also the lower labor costs in China, maybe even some government support.
Okay.
And they seem to have a very lean development process, you know, very focused.
Yeah, that makes sense. So this whole thing about the U.S. sanctions, it seems like they might have actually backfired.
It's a real possibility. You know, the intention might have been to slow down China's AI development.
Right. Contain it.
Exactly. But these restrictions seem to have just pushed companies like DeepSeek to get more creative.
So they had to innovate because they had limited resources.
Right. And that forced innovation seems to have made them more competitive in the long run.
So it's kind of like the David and Goliath situation playing out on a global scale.
Yeah, and it's looking like the balance of power in AI could be shifting.
Yeah, so are we like entering a new world order when it comes to artificial intelligence?
Well, the DeepSeek story definitely suggests we're moving towards a world with multiple power centers.
Okay, so not just one major player anymore.
Right. The West can't just assume they'll always be on top.
That's for sure.
China's AI capabilities are clearly growing, and the question now is, you know, how will this competition shape the future of AI development?
Yeah, good question.
Will we see even more innovation? Will there be different approaches and technologies emerging?
Fascinating stuff. And to think it all started with this company that most people hadn't even heard of.
It really shows you how unpredictable technological advancement can be.
Yeah, it's like trying to predict the weather.
Exactly. And you know, it makes you wonder if this kind of constraint breeds innovation, what other breakthroughs might be happening in parts of the world facing similar challenges.
Yeah, that's a really good point. What if limitations are actually driving even more progress?
Right. Could we end up with a more diverse and dynamic AI ecosystem because of it?
It's definitely something to think about.
It is, yeah.
Wow, this deep dive has been incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see how quickly things can change in the AI world and how those changes can have such a massive impact.
Definitely makes you realize that we're just at the beginning of this whole AI revolution.
Absolutely, and who knows what the future holds.
Who knows, but it's going to be exciting to watch it unfold.
Absolutely. All right, folks, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the wild world of AI. And until next time, stay curious.
Keep those questions coming.